Good morning, everyone. Jonathan van Clute here with Stock Navigators. It is a quarter to 6 a.m. on Wednesday, January 16th. And I would like to remind you to please like, comment, and subscribe to these videos if you'd like to be notified in the future of when I'm going live or when we have other interesting things going on. So with that, let's go ahead and jump in to take a look at the markets this morning. So the S&P 500, the ES, we're looking at the ES futures for anybody who might be new to these videos and new to our approach of analyzing the markets. Right now, the market has been in kind of rally mode, and some people in some corners are getting kind of excited about that and think we're holding up and that there's been a reversal and so forth. But the fact of the matter is that we are right now in a very significant sell zone. And in fact, we're getting close to the top of that zone. So it is entirely reasonable, especially with all the things that are going on in the world right now, especially things like the government shutdown and Brexit. And, there's a lot of things to be uncertain about, a lot of reasons to be uncertain right now in the markets. So I think it's very reasonable to expect that the market could trade up maybe a little closer to the top of this sell zone here and then be ready to turn around and retrace. Now, the key question is going to be when it retraces, and it's not an if, it's a when. When it retraces, how far does it go? Do we get a higher low here? In which case we would have the absolute low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, and then a higher low. And then if we can break this, we will have a higher high. And then at that point, we go potentially into bull market mode. That would be technically the definition of being in a real uptrend. Now we have a reversal. Or does it come down and break this low, take it out, and head further? Maybe establish a higher low here, in which case we also have a low, but then we have a high, then we have a higher low. And so, that is bullish, but obviously on a slower time scale because now it's going to take longer to recoup all of that. Or does it actually pull back all the way to continue the downtrend that we're still in, take out this low here, and establish a continuation of the downtrend? Obviously, there is a big buy zone here that the market would have to crash through, but don't overlook the fact that right now, especially if I zoom out, we are still in a pattern of lower lows and lower highs. So this is a really critical time. Unfortunately, with the previously mentioned things that are going on, especially the government shutdown in the U.S. at least, I don't see a lot of strong argument for continued optimism and continued moving to the upside. So you put that all together with the fact that we had this huge down move, which we have retraced to a significant level. In fact, if you aren't in the Discord, you should really go check it out because Tim posted a nice chart in there this morning with the key retracement levels in it and kind of giving people a hint as to what might be coming. And that's worth taking a look at. But, given that we've retraced to a significant level and we're right near the top of the sell zone here, it's just all signs point to a test in this area right up here, actually more like, this area is what I was more trying to draw, and then a retracement. And, maybe the 21 EMA acts as support, maybe. But, I think we would need to have some kind of good news coming in to have that. So just keep a real close eye on that. This is a wait and see mode for me right now, in my opinion. We're waiting for the highest probability outcome, and that is a test of this zone here. So watch for that. Watch for price to get up there, and then look for weakness of any kind. Maybe watch for a break below the intraday box, and that would be your final trigger to potentially go short. Also, the Navigator is trying to get up to the zero line, but it's not there yet. And I suspect that a test of this zero line will coincide with a test of the top of that sell zone. At which point I expect to see the Navigator retreat, and the market, of course, will do the same exact thing. Now, on a intraday, on a 60-minute, there's still moves up and down to be had. There's definitely still trading opportunities, but just don't overlook the fact that on a daily basis, we're coming up into that sell zone. So don't get stuck looking just at the 60-minute chart and forget what the larger picture is. And the larger picture is that sell zone. Let me pull this down a little bit. And there we go. So, the larger picture is this area, here. There's this guy here that's got to get over, and then there's this one, and both of those are going to offer up some very significant resistance. So just be prepared for that. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't trade bullishly. I mean, if it tests this level here, well, we've got a decent amount of distance to get there, right? So if you believe strongly that it is in fact going to test that level, then you could potentially uh, look to go long. If you see some indication like a break of the box to the upside or something like that, you could certainly go long, but you're going to have to play it very tight, keep good stops, don't get caught by the market suddenly just getting weak, failing, and then moving quickly. Because remember, when the market moves down, it goes fast. So be prepared for that. Be ready to step out of the way and take that small loss if you need to. But the better high probability thing to do right now is to wait and wait until we get closer to that sell zone and then look to initiate a short, especially if you're swing trading. That's your opportunity right there, is to go short around the top of this box or as close to it as we can get. That is, of course, unless suddenly the government shutdown is resolved and things start getting rosy, and then all of a sudden maybe we break to the upside and there's enthusiasm and exuberance and so forth, get over the zero line and continue to the upside. So there's a number of possibilities, but to me right now the highest probability is the market to correct when it gets to around the top of this box. So just keep that in mind. Let's take a look at crude oil, which right this moment is just kind of continuing to go sideways. It's just channeling around. It's stuck between the fair value level, the fair value here, and the top of the box, that sort of supply area of the box. So right now, sideways. Navigator is not yet crossing the zero line, and perhaps it's going to. If it can continue to go sideways for a little while and build up momentum, and get over this, then all of a sudden we might see a push higher. But right this moment, it's got to get over this high here. That is the nearest level that it needs to get over on a daily basis. We did break through that descending trend line and never even really came back down to test it. Which is very often what I would expect to see. A trend line like that is broken and then it tests as support and then it either holds or fails. We didn't get that. Crude just kept on marching. But that's not all that surprising when you consider this kind of congestion area here, and then also the fact that we had such a big down move. We had just this really tremendous downtrend here that crude is going to retrace some of. And even this move here is a relatively insignificant retracement in the grand scheme of this entire move. That is a small percentage of this whole move. So, if we were to retrace half the move, we'd be looking at retracing somewhere around here, which coincidentally is right about that level there, which is a pivot area from, or a support area rather, from way back here, congestion area. So right now, anyway, crude is wanting to be bullish. We have the suggestion of higher highs and higher lows. It's not, a really exciting defined pattern, and the fact that we're stuck in this congestion area right here makes me think that a pullback is likely. But again, it could just go sideways for a while, work off some of this uncertainty, and then just decide to push higher. So keep an eye on this level here. If you're looking to trade crude on a slightly longer term time frame, that is the high you need to see taken out. On the other hand, if it takes out this low here, which is basically the fair value of the box, expect at least probably a test of the bottom of the box or somewhere near the bottom of the box. So watch for that. 60-minute time frame, of course, we are still in an uptrend. We're still riding this trend line here and just going up and up and up and up and staying above it, staying above it, staying above it. But we're hitting these overhead sell zones. We went into this one, pulled back, did it again, tested the support, held, hit the next one, resistance, pulled back, and actually broke through the prior one and all the way back down to test the trend line again. Came back up into this sell zone and then tested, failed, tested, kind of broke out and then failed. So it's really struggling to get through these overhead zones. So just watch out for that. There is not a very, very strong, clear sign of bullishness. There's just a lot of stuff that's going to have to punch through to be able to get this, ultimately, the daily zero line, or the daily navigator rather, to cross that zero line. So right now, technically, the bulls are in control on the 60-minute time frame. We've got higher highs and higher lows going on here. Bullish navigator as well. But on the daily, the bears really, if you think of this as lower lows and lower highs, are still in control because we have not taken out this high yet. So watch out for that. Don't get caught thinking this is, suddenly a bull market in oil, and then maybe we hit this level or something, and then correct to the downside. So just watch yourself and trade responsibly, as they say. Take a quick look at gold, and gold is just continuing in this sideways pattern. But notice it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. I think the argument could be made that this reflects the general uncertainty in the markets right now. It's just it's such a perfect, uh, kind of a triangle pattern, just getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and squeezing down there. Navigator is in a very shallow range as well. Um, just getting tighter and tighter and closer to that zero line. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Do we get some kind of shock in the market that maybe sends people running to gold? In which case, gold breaks that zero line and takes out this high, and we see a run to the upside. But on the 60-minute, we've got this sell zone overhead to get over, and we've got to get past that to really see any true bullishness coming out into this market. On a daily basis, we've also got this big sell zone overhead from this big congestion area back here, and we're gonna have to watch out for that as well. So there's a lot of stuff to watch out for overhead in gold in both the longer term and the shorter term time frames. So right now, just for me, this is a wait and see market. Again, we're just getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and not going anywhere, just going sideways. We're right near, we're right at really the top of this box here. So I that could be being tested as support. There's a reasonable case to be made that the top of that box will hold as support, as it kind of has been doing. It's been sort of acting like a magnet for price, just keeping price right there. So that is a very important level right now, and we need to see some kind of strong conviction breaking out of that, either upside or downside, one or the other. To the downside, of course, we got to break the 21 EMA, and that's going to put us back into this channel. And maybe gold just goes back into channeling mode. We'll have to just see what it wants to do. Right now, the Navigator is fairly overbought. It's not crazy overbought. It certainly could go higher. It's only at around 30, but it's up there. So I don't see a massive push to the upside coming, at least not without a retracement first. So I think it's perfectly reasonable that gold could pull back, maybe form a higher low, and then march higher. Because on the shorter term, on the daily, that is, we have higher highs and higher lows. So in order to continue that pattern, then we need to see a higher low form. All right, let's take a peek at natural gas, which it had that huge gap up the other day, and gapped and kind of ran, pulled back a little bit, and it really wants to march higher. The EMA, 21 EMA, has hooked around and is curving upwards on a daily. And we are obviously well above the daily box, but we haven't gotten a new daily box yet. So right now, on a daily basis, it's not. I can't really, in good conscience, call this a pattern of higher highs and higher lows yet. It is a move to the upside, but it really needs to establish higher highs and higher lows. And okay, perhaps you could say this is a higher high, this was a higher low, and then maybe we break this level and go higher, set a higher high, and maybe this is the beginning of higher highs and higher lows. But I wouldn't say that it is in effect quite yet. So watch out for that. Don't get caught on the wrong side of things, and just trade cautiously. Let's see here. That's peculiar. Williams just letting me know that he can't see the charts, only the logo, but he can hear my audio. Well, that's not good. Yeah, look at that. I see the same thing. I haven't the faintest idea why. Oh no. Um, that's terrible. My screen share canceled. Oh, seriously? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. Technology, utter fail. Um, that's just dreadful. Well, can you see the chart now, William? Let me know if it's working now, at least. Man, that is awful. Amazingly enough, that is the first time that has happened. I don't know why the the screen share failed. It was running, and then I just waited a little while to start. I guess maybe there's a timeout or something. But can you see it now, William? I don't know how much delay there is from the time I talk to the time you can hear it, but I think it should be working now. It looks to me like it's working now. So uh, sorry about that. I also wasn't looking at the YouTube chat, so I okay, excellent, got it now. All right, well, all right, the super brief version. Here's the ES. Here's that sell zone I was talking about. Top of the sell zone, coming right up, right there. So watch out for that. That's where we're looking for price to get to initiate a high probability short and get a retracement, and then maybe make a higher low here, or maybe make a higher low down here, or maybe for bad news, take out this level here, and then we've got a real problem on our hands. So watch out for that on the ES. Your high probability trade is going to be this area here. So watch for price to get right up there and then show some weakness, break the box to the downside, maybe on the 60, something like that. So that's what we're looking for. Okay, so crude oil, the super quick version is it's going sideways. There you go. We need to get those higher highs and higher lows happening. So to really get bullish on crude, we got to take out this level here. And this whole zone here is our congestion area, and right now we are squarely in the middle of it. So watch for crude to pick up and move one way or the other to test those areas. If it comes to the downside, look to make a higher low if the uptrend is going to continue, or if it comes all the way down and breaks this low here, which is also, of course, this buy zone down here, then we know that there is further downside to be had in oil, and watch for that. All right, now recapping gold again. This is that crazy wedge that's going on here. It's just tighter and tighter and tighter, and you can see it here on the 60-minute as well. Tighter and tighter and tighter, and you can see it here on the Navigator as well. Everybody is just squeezing, and very uncertain right now, right at the top of the box, which is right there. And so, just for me, this is wait and see. We do have a big congestion area overhead from back here, and so that's going to act as a resistance area. So watch for that. If gold breaks to the upside, watch for it to get into here and then see what happens, if it can actually hold up there, or if it just runs out of steam, turns around and reverses, or if it just breaks down from here and then gets back into this channel, and then maybe it just channels around in here. Those are the areas that I'm watching. All right, natural gas. Again, gapped up huge and has held, but we don't have a clear pattern of higher highs and higher lows yet. On the 60, it is trying to show some strength this morning. It has gone up here, and it's continuing to march higher as we speak. Got to watch for that level there. Got to see it take that level out, which is also, of course, that level there. And that's what we're looking for to really show bullishness. And you could make the argument, as I was saying, that this is the low. Then we have maybe a first high there, a higher low here, and then maybe we make a higher high and a higher low and so forth. So perhaps we are getting the beginnings of a pattern of higher highs and higher lows. It just hasn't really been put in quite yet. And then, with the mess that was this whole crazy volatility area, it's a little not obvious to see the clear levels that are going to need to get overtaken. But in this pattern of lower lows and lower highs, as volatile as it was, we're basically looking for like sort of that high there, in the shorter term, that high there, and then of course getting up over any of these guys, which would be I wouldn't say it's an insurmountable task, but that's a big move. So I think it would take a lot to push natural gas up to those levels, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. So just got to see what the price wants to give us. So on the shorter term, watch out for this. Typically, you very commonly see first time back to a zone, fade it. There's that saying in trading: first time fade, second time go with. So here's the origination of this area where it first got there, and then if it comes back here now, that would be the first time back. So I would watch out for that, and that might be a short opportunity, but it could be a short opportunity that's just setting up to then break through the next time around. So just trade cautiously in these areas. If it gets here and shows any signs of weakness, then you may have a low risk short, because you can just put your stop right outside the area, depending on how far you want it to be, whatever your risk tolerance is. But just be aware of that high there, and if price comes back down again, watch. You can see what happened when it got up to this sell zone here. It bounced off of it and then tried to get through it, and then finally broke on through it. Same thing down here. It came down to it and bounced off of it and then broke through it, came back to it, held. So this is a significant area that wants to hang on to price. So if price gets down into that area, expect it to kind of pause for a little bit and maybe reverse or maybe just go sideways a little before continuation. All right. Lastly, let's take a fast look at Bitcoin here because Bitcoin charts are now working again, which is great. So crypto still just kind of going sideways, but it is holding right at the buy zone down here, rather, right at the top of the buy zone. So it did come down into the zone and then bounce out of it, come back down, test it as support, and it held. Test again as support. So far, it's holding. So this is a good sign for the bulls. This is a good sign of strength. There are buyers down here that want to keep price up. On the shorter term time frame, of course, we, as always with crypto, you've got these huge moves, these huge shocks that happen just all the time. It's an incredibly volatile market. So if you're able to trade high volatility, then crypto is a great market for that because it's always moving around like crazy. Right now, it's basically sideways. I mean, you can see it on the 60, pretty much this whole region here. Just sideways, 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 sideways. One little poke below it, but came right back into it again. So we are in a major sideways congestion area on the 60, and frankly, we are on a daily as well. They look almost exactly the same, which is a little crazy. But these charts look almost identical. I mean, you got the one big drop here, the one big drop there. You got the one big drop here, the one big drop there. Then sideways congestion area with one dip below. Sideways congestion area with one dip below. I mean, it's really weird that these charts look so identical. But there you have it. Navigator is also showing that it is increasing. You're getting higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. Same thing on a daily. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and finally actually broke above the zero line there, but didn't hold it. But look how much higher the Navigator is. So I see this as a very bullish sign. There's a lot of bullish momentum coming into this market right now that's holding it up in these areas. So we'll have to see if it can confirm, because right now, anyway, we don't have that pattern of higher highs and higher lows to really give us a bullish bias. We're still lower lows and lower highs and then sideways. So just be careful. It doesn't in any way suggest that price couldn't come down, break this level here, and then look out below. So watch out for that. This is a critical area. If price comes back down into this zone, we need, for the bulls anyway, we need to see buyers step up and start buying that. So keep an eye on that level, that area here. This is the one to watch. And then to the upside, of course, it's got to take out this high here. If it can get over that kind of 44.14, 44.15 level, then there's room for a move to the upside. And then, next test is like around this area here. And then, of course, this big one, big congestion area here to watch for. So in crypto, in Bitcoin specifically, that is, those are the levels to be keeping an eye on. So, all right, well, there we go. A little bit over time due to the technical snafu. Sorry about that, folks. But hopefully this was informative, regardless of the technical glitch. Thank you, William, for bringing that to my attention. I'm glad you were here live because I would have completely missed that was going on. So much appreciated for you chiming in on that one. All right, gang, time to get ready for the trading day ahead. Opening bell in 21 minutes and change. So I hope everybody has a great trading day today. There's a couple days left in the trading week. And then next week, we've got a holiday week. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday is recognized on Monday. And I actually am not sure off the top of my head if the markets are closed for MLK. I never really paid attention to that particular day in the past. So anyway, just check your market calendar. It's always a good idea to do that anyway. There's tons of market calendars out there, but check one. Make sure that you know what days are either early closing days or completely closed days or what have you. All that good stuff. Of course, if you trade Bitcoin or crypto, then you don't care because it's always open. Always something to do. All right, that's it. Time to go get ready for the day. You are very welcome, William. Glad you could be here. Thanks again so much for being here live. Appreciate you being the early riser that I know you are. All right, folks. Have a good one. Good trading. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.